If you, in 1969, were going to prophesy that by 2020 we still weren't going to be on Mars, I mean,
I would have thought they were crazy. Exactly. I'm 17 years old. I'm watching the moon landing. If anybody had told me then that I'd be 68 and we wouldn't have, cities on the moon and Mars, I would have thought they were crazy.
But, so it's been 50 years, but right now, something is actually happening. In the past decade or so, something is really happening. And so the question is, why? I mean, is it for has technology moved along to a sufficient place, or did we need Musk and Bezos? Why now?
Well, clearly the thing that has broken loose now over the past 10 years has been the entrepreneurial space launch revolution, which has been spearheaded by Musk, but which is also having ramifications that go beyond Musk and SpaceX, and in fact go beyond space flight. And I'll talk about that in a minute. But see, here's the situation. It's not that government programs can't innovate. They can. But they really have to be focused in their objectives. 1957 to 1969, we went from Sputnik to landing people on the moon. And in the process, we developed pretty much the whole bag of tricks needed to do space stuff. Hydrogen, oxygen engines, multi-stage heavy lift launch vehicles, in-space life support, in-space navigation, communication, soft landing techniques, re-entry techniques, radioisotope generator, solar power, the whole thing. It was all developed. And the cost of space launch dropped from, millions of dollars a kilogram to $10,000 a kilogram. But then it stayed there for the next 40 years. And qualitatively, we did some new missions. Okay, we landed Viking on Mars, but Viking was already designed or begun to be designed in this period before 69. Certainly Mariner 9, which orbited Mars, was in fact developed before. In other words, these things, the unmanned probes, Pioneer, Jupiter, was all developed in this period of time. That is the craft, okay? But the cost of space launch, which had dropped precipitously during this period, stayed flat for the next 40 years. And while you had this craft that had been developed, was exercised in increasingly sophisticated ways with Pioneer, Jupiter, Voyager, Viking, and so forth. Spirit and Opportunity. That the basic story held the same, because the human spaceflight program went from being a purpose-driven program to being a vendor-driven program. It no longer had this very clear drive. We're going to put people on the moon. And so this countered entropy. Okay. But without that, the main thing about the human spaceflight program was, here's government wants to spend a lot of money. I have an idea how they could spend it. They can spend it on me. And that's what the program became about. So, for instance, the objective of the shuttle program, for the most part, was flying shuttles. The objective of the moon program was not to fly Saturn V's. It was to get people to the moon.